Okay. I just talked about the scales. So scales are those which are there to measure different kind of data, and data can be have different requirements. So we have the nominal ordinal interval ratio, and I just gave you the example about the weight of different weight you want to measure. So you need different kind of weighing machine. Likewise, for different kind of data, you require different kind of scales. Next. So you see nominal scale with examples. First example is a nominal scale is the one which just categorize, we just require the categorization only. Okay? It does not require to have in order. And remember two things, note it down. Every scale we use, the options must be mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive. Mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive. Mutually exclusive, collectively exhaustive. So you see, if the options are not mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive, so what does that mean? It means the data cannot be processed. That even the respondent cannot respond perfectly. So the options must be mutually exclusive. What does that mean, mutually exclusive?
And collectively?
Mutually exclusive means the one who is filling must be part of it. For example, if you are a university student and I gave you multiple departments to respond, okay, which department are you from? So the choice is media department, computer science department, English department, and other departments. But your department is not there. So are these choices correct? Why? Because they are not collectively exhaustive. So the choices must be collectively exhaustive. All the department must be there. Business department must be there, media department must be there, computer science must be there, and other. And at the end, you have to write others as well. For example, you are collecting the data in the university like Karachi University, which has more than 50 departments. So you cannot write all of the 50 departments, obviously. Okay? For one questionnaire, it will be open like this. So what you do, you just write the main those department who have the most number of students, and at the end of after 4 or 5 choices, you write others. Others is enough, but it makes the choices collectively exhaustive. It's very, very important. Okay, and the choices must be mutually exclusive. They must be exclusive. They must not be same. Okay? For example, when you ask anyone about the area you live in, so you are not be writing or giving the option that of Karachi city. No, you cannot give. When you talk about the area, you have to write the names of the area, most of the areas. Sahi hai? And they must be mutually exclusive. Two area must not fall into one. For example, you cannot write central and any town name of a central. It cannot be like that. Because you can fall in 2 categories. One respondent cannot be fall in 2 categories. I am just repeating myself again. One respondent cannot fall into 2 categories. One thing. Other thing is, one respondent must have his choice to be there. If there is no choice, there is no option for the respondent, the responses are incorrect. When the responses are incorrect, it cannot be fit in any of the scale. So it is mandatory for a researcher to develop the options so that it can be part of any scale and it can be statistically analyzed. Otherwise, it can never be statistically analyzed. It is very important to understand. Okay, repeat what I just said. Excuse me. जी.
जो कि हम नॉमिनल स्केल बना रहे हैं, तो हमारे जो जिस चीज़ की करेंगे हमने कराची एग्जांपल दी, तो उसमें जितने भी डिपार्टमेंट्स हैं उन सबको. What is it called? What is the term I just used? सर नॉमिनल स्केलिंग के लिए हमने. No. Two terms I used. So what example are you giving? सर ये जो एग्जांपल है ये कलेक्टिवली और म्यूचुअली एक्सक्लूसिव दोनों की है, क्योंकि इसमें ये है कि जितने भी डिपार्टमेंट उसमें हैं वो सारे कवर हो जाएंगे.
सही. और दूसरी
ये है कि जो कलेक्टिव वो है एग्जॉस्टिव, उसमें ये है कि आपके पास जिसका आपको डेटा चाहिए उसका भी आपको मिल जाएगा.
हाँ बिल्कुल,
उसमें चीज़ कवर हो जाएगी.
बिल्कुल सही है. तो उसकी ऑप्शंस भी हों और एक रिस्पोंडेंट दो कैटेगरी में फॉल ना हो. वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, बिकॉज एनी रिस्पोंडेंट कैन गेट कंफ्यूज्ड. So this very important. Okay, when we have made the scales accordingly, mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive, then we talk about the scales and we talk about the which scale is better for us. So start learning with the nominal scale. Nominal scale is the scale which is just following the mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive and not any other requirement. For example, gender. You can write male on top of the option or female. Or female. You can write. No. Is there any problem? No problem. If you are asking about the city you live in, you can write any name as per your choice. Can you write? No problem. Is there any problem? No problem. Why? Because there is no requirement of the order. There is no requirement of the order. When your responses require no particular place, then you go for the nominal scale. You go for the no. Okay, tell me if I ask you about the departments, which department you are in. So what scale is better for that? Nominal. Why?
कोई ऑर्डर नहीं होगा ना, कोई भी डिपार्टमेंट पहले आ सकता है.
Yes, and yes, he is correct. You are correct as well. But over here I am emphasizing that why nominal. You see, mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive must be followed for every scale, not for nominal particularly. It cannot qualify for any statistical analysis if the responses are not mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive. ये बात हो गई. Next point which he just raised, because the departments don't require to be in the order. That is why it is a nominal scale. Very important. ठीक है? That is why it is a nominal scale. The other one is the where do you live? Do you live in the city or the suburb or town? So you see, it's a nominal example. Why? Because the choices can be swapped with no issue, no problem. Can you swap that? No problem with the respondent. Respondent will have no issue about it. What is your political preference? So the choices can be up and down, no problem. So that is there. You can ask about anyone's nationality or the where are they from? ठीक है ना? So you can write all the countries' name which you like. Since you cannot write all the companies, so I already mentioned that you have to give the response of those countries which have the highest number of citizens. So that would be easy. But other must always be there. Other, because you cannot write all. Remember, you cannot write all. Next. So we are done with the nominal. Understood, everyone? Okay, let's talk about the ordinal scale. When we talk about the ordinal scale, it means the order is important. The order is important. And why it is important? So that your respondent will not get confused or will not face any problem. For example, if I ask you that what is your GPA? So when I ask you what is your GPA, so what do you expect? You expect a scale from the 2 to 4.
Yes.
That's what you expect. If I give you the scale 2, 3.5 and 2.5, and 4. So you would be confused. Instead, I will be giving you 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4. Getting my point? So the order is important. If you ask me what is your designation, and you write it down, the positions any lecturer, teacher can have, university teacher can have. So you start with the assistant, lab assistant kind of thing, lecturer, senior lecturer, assistant professor, associate professor, senior associate professor, and professor, or professor emeritus. So you see one position after another. That's how it goes. So you make the life easy for the respondent. So when you have made the life easy for the respondent, the skill must be the ordinal skill. The ordinal skill, very important. So when you talk about the education you have, so you start from the matriculation, or the primary, or the secondary, whatever you want, wherever you want to start. Okay? And you go on toward the university education. That's how it goes. And when we ask anyone about the salary, so you can also take it as a ordinal skill in that. Next. Ordinal skill examples are when we ask anyone how satisfied are you with our services, very unsatisfied, unsatisfied, neutral, satisfied, very satisfied. Okay? So why is it ordinal? Anyone will answer?
It has a sequence order of having unsatisfied to the satisfied.
Very good. जी अभी
ये भी इसी तरह जैसे strongly agree disagree.
बिल्कुल ठीक है ना. So that's how it is the ordinal scale. And over here you see job characteristic ranking. It's a ranking scale. Like I gave you the example of the toothpaste companies. Which toothpaste do you like to use? Prioritize them. So you start with the most famous one, which you use most of the time. Then you would like to use, if that toothpaste is not there, then you write the name of the toothpaste. Likewise, job characters are ranking the opportunity provided by the job to interact with others. Use different skills, complete a task to the end, service others, work independently. So what you have to do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which one is the most done and which one is the least done? So you rank it. And these are the low income, middle income, high income, education wise. And the positions anyone would get, it's also first, second, third. अच्छा नदीम खड़ा है. अच्छा, if you see, we can do a particular kind of analysis to the nominal and ordinal scale. ठीक है? And that is what the reason is to have an scale, because we want a sophisticated analysis for the interval and ratio. We are not expecting, we are not interested in knowing a lot about the demographics. That is the nominal. We are interested in the details of the ordinal, interval and ratio. Okay? So the statistical analysis can be done in detail, descriptively, through the nominal scale and the ordinal scale. So when we talk about the descriptive stats, that includes the pie chart, the frequency table, and the histogram. So they can be done with the nominal and ordinal scale. When the data is gathered, it can be easily done. For example, if I want to know how many males are in the class, how many female. So you see the chart would be there. Housing, own, rent, or tenant. For free. There are many people who live for free. Some or the other reason. Many people who have many properties, they give their one of the property to their relatives sometimes. That is also part of free. Because they do not want anyone to grab their land. Next. Now we talk about the interval. When we talk about the interval scale, it is the scale which is giving the equal distance in every choice. Giving the equal distance. For example, if I give you the example of GPA. So you see, I gave you the equal distance to 2.5, 2.5 onwards to 3, and 3 onwards to 3.5, 3.5 onwards to 4. So that is the example of the interval scale. When we talk about the same interval, and every interval has to be same, very important. It cannot be like 2.5 and 2.5 onwards to 3.1. No. 0.5 must be the difference between the every choice. So this is called the interval scale. And you see, it does not require you to have the absolute zero. Absolute zero. What is absolute zero? Absolute zero is which exactly tell you about it. For example, if we say zero size, so what does that mean? No size?
Newborn.
No size. When we say we want a dress of zero size for our kids, not for you. Exactly. For reference, it is not absolute. It is a reference. Likewise, when we say it's a 0 degree temperature, what does that mean? It does not tell you everything about it. Do you know, in Quetta, when there is a minus degree temperature, you don't feel like much. When you go to the glacier side, that is the northern side, 0 degree of there is, you feel freezing. Actually feel freezing. What does that mean? It means absolute zero does not mean there is a freezing temperature. Okay? It is just showing that the temperature is down. So what does that mean? Zero does not tell you that the ice would be there. Water will transform into ice. It is not necessary because there are other factors. So what does absolute mean? Zero means zero. But in interval, we take all the variables which does not take as a absolute. Okay? So this is also there in that. Next. So when we talk about the absolute, we take the ratio scale. When we talk about the absolute, we take the ratio scale. For example, how many bicycles do you have? So either I would say no bicycle at all, or I would say 1, 2 or 3. How many kids do you have? No kids. 1, 2 or 3 or more than that. So what does that mean? It means absolute. Absolute. So it's important to understand that ratio scale is the most sophisticated scale, and we use it just to compare among the choices. For example, salary. When we talk about the salary, so we want to know more about the choices. So we try to get the data out of it. Next. Ratio scale, what is your daughter's current height? So less than 5 feet, 5 feet 1 inch, 5 feet 5 inches, and more than 6 feet. So it can be part of the interval, and it is also part of a ratio scale as well. So it's your choice. Either you can put it into interval or ratio, but it should be absolute. It should be absolute, very important. Because when we say 0 feet, it means there is no height. It's important. What is your weight in kilogram? So less than 50 kilogram, 51 to, that is also part of the ratio scale. Next. So you see, these are the representation we can have with the ratio interval scale. With the data of the interval and ratio, we can have the histogram, we can have the scatter plot. Next. We can also see in detail that what are the measurement we can do, how we can learn about the central tendency of the data, okay? And how can we measure the dispersion in the data, what are the tests we can apply to see the significance among the variables, significance or the relationship significance among the variables. So you see, with when we talk about the central tendency, for the nominal scale, we use the mode Mode. Do you know what is mode? Yes. So mode. And when we talk about the ordinal scale, it is the center tendency is known by the median. And when we talk about the interval, it is through the arithmetic mean, and the ratio, the same arithmetic and or geometric mean can be applied. So for the center tendency, you have a different choices, and you cannot change these choices. With the mode, you can only get to know about the nominal data. Remember, with the mode. With the median, you get to know about the center tendency in the ordinal scale. This can also come in your exam in terms of the multiple choice or the true false or any other kind of objective. And when we talk about the interval scale, center tendency, arithmetic mean is there to help you out. And when we talk about the ratio, the arithmetic mean plus the geometric mean, both are helpful. And when we talk about the dispersion, semi-interquartile range of ordinal can be applied. In nominal, there is no dispersion. There is no dispersion. Why? Because the choices cannot be linked with each other. Okay? They are qualitative basically. They are qualitative. But over here, you see semi-interquartile range. You get to know. And when we talk about the dispersion, the standard deviation, variance, coefficient of variation, through these the interval dispersion can be known. For the data which is in the interval scale, you can apply the standard deviation, variance, and the coefficient of variation. That can be applied. And when we talk about the ratio, the same can be applied. And the test of significance, the chi-square for the nominal, and the ordinal is rank order correlation, and for the interval ratio, T statistics and F statistics can be applied. T test and F test can be applied. T statistics and F statistics. So you see, let's sum up with the idea of the scales again, so that everything is in our top of our mind. First is we require different kind of scale so that we can measure the data. Okay? Now, choices are 4, starting from the nominal, then ordinal, then interval, and ratio. So we need to take care of our choices. Why? Because we are going to analyze the data. We are going to learn through the data. So we need to be very careful that whether our choices or our data item must be part of the nominal scale, ordinal, interval, or ratio. Now what we have learned that nominal scale does not require any kind of ranking, but every scale require the choices to be mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive. If it is not like that, then do not go for that. There is no statistical test can be applied. No statistical test can be applied if the choices are not mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive. First thing. Now, if we are getting in the beginning of every questionnaire, we collect the data of the demographics. So in the beginning of the demographics, you might have witnessed the gender and other information. It's all part of the nominal because you do not require the ranking at all. Now here comes the choice of ordinal scale. When we talk about the ordinal scale, it means the choices which require ranking, one after another. Okay? So you need to put all the data in the ordinal scale. So SPSS, statistical package for social sciences, will ask you that what kind of data you are entering. So you will be telling, I am entering the nominal data, I am entering the ordinal data, I am entering the interval data, I am entering the ratio data. So you tell the system that what you are going to input, so that it can process accordingly. Now what we have learned about the interval scale. Interval scale is the one which has the choices of a same difference. The range must be same. Like I give you the example of a GPA, 2, 2.5, 2.5 onwards to 3, 3 onwards to 3.5, 3.5 onwards to 4. So you see the differences are same. Differences must be same in the interval. And when we talk about the ratio, in the ratio, the major difference between the interval and the ratio is about the absolute one. When the values of a data is absolute, then you go only for the ratio, otherwise you are in the interval. And I give you the example of temperature in which you are not sure about the absolute zero. And I also give you the example of a size when we give the reference that I want a 0 size jacket or 0 size clothes. So what does that mean? It does not mean that no size at all. It means it is referencing to something. So when there is a reference, then go for the interval. When there is something which is absolute, like how many bicycles you have? 0, 1, 2. How many kids you have? 0, 1, 2. What is your salary? Exactly you can tell. So when you are absolute about it, go for the ratio scale. And when we get the data into nominal, ordinal, interval ratio, we talk about how we can measure its center tendency, its dispersion, and what test we can apply. So, excuse me, tell me how we can learn about the center tendency in the interval.
Sir, अगर nominal है तो हमें
In the interval. Yes. Interval scale. Yes.
सर मीन के जरिए क्योंकि एवरेज वाली बात है कि जब हमारा इंटरवल होगा तो उसमें एक एवरेज होगा जो कि पूरा डिफरेंस आ रहा है वो दो चीज़ों के बीच 2 से 3 3 से 4
Shabash. Okay, Bilal sir, how we can learn the dispersion in the ratio scale? Yes. How the data is dispersed from the mean, from the average. Standard deviation, variation.
क्या मीन
Standard deviation,
निकाल के
variance. You might have studied in the statistics. Have you?
यस सर
And it's very easy. It's not difficult. And what test we can apply? Chi-square for the nominal, and rank order correlation is for the ordinal, and F test and T test for the interval ratio. Same. Okay. So let's call a day. Any question so far? Whatever we discussed. Anything which is not clear? Okay. Thank you.